tonight, the backlash after the U.S. ambassador said he's disappointed by the anti-American sentiment in Canada.
I would suggest that he gets a mirror and looks in it.
Strong words backed up with action. The new data showing Canadians are indeed stepping away from the U.S. Donald Trump doubles down.
That's no longer free speech, that's just cheating.
Late night fires back over Jimmy Kimmel.
That is blatant censorship.
We have another fun, hilarious, administration-compliant show.
And the high-profile Trump ally suggesting it's gone too far. How a small BC city managed to find and keep family doctors.
I'm seeing people who haven't seen a doctor in 10, 15 years.
We break down the bold idea that has other communities taking note.
From CBC News, this is The National with Erica Johnson.
Thanks for joining us. We're seeing an outpouring of anger tonight over comments from the U.S. ambassador that he's disappointed in the anti-American sentiment in Canada and that he didn't expect it. Canadians aren't buying that, and a new CBC analysis finds they're not buying American as much either. For months, there has been a shift to buy Canadian in the face of tariffs and 51st state threats. We found hard evidence that is happening. Exports down, travel way down, even what Canadians are reading, watching, and drinking, all trending away from the U.S. Ashley Burke takes us through some of those numbers, but first brings us those comments from the U.S. ambassador to Canada that have sparked so much reaction.
Anti-American sentiment still burning bright in Canada.
It's disappointing how we feel we've been treated.
People now fuming over the U.S. ambassador's comments that he's disappointed with Canadians, suggesting he can't understand why they're so upset.
What is he on a rock or something? Like, does he know what's going on?
I would suggest that he gets a mirror and looks in it because the issues that are between the U.S. and Canada are caused by the U.S.
Please welcome Ambassador Hoekstra.
On Thursday, America's ambassador to Canada told a business audience he's frustrated.
I'm disappointed that I came to Canada, a Canada that it is very, very difficult to find Canadians who are passionate about the American-Canadian relationship.
And he took aim at politicians, too.
You ran a campaign where, it was anti-American, elbows up, Me Too, it was an anti-American campaign. That has continued. That's disappointing.
He also spoke out against the finance minister's recent comment that it's sad the U.S. turned its back on Canada. His response?
The tariffs have been impacting a number of workers and sectors in Canada like we have not seen in a very long time.
Others less diplomatic.
Well, when you kick the dog, you can't blame it for snarling back. When you talk about annexation and you talk about 51st state and you treat your partner like a second-class standing, and then say, well, you know what, I think that when you say things like elbows up, it's anti-American. I mean, it's gaslighting 101.
No matter what, Canadians are putting their thoughts into action.
All I know is I don't want to cross over right now to the U.S.
Many still traveling, shopping, and spending money in Canada, not the U.S.
Anytime any country, out of the blue slaps tariffs or starts raising the specter of annexation, of course Canadians are going to respond positively on the patriotic side.
The data backs that up. Numbers show Canadians have taken a big step back from the U.S.
So, Ashley, what do some of those figures show?
Erica, data from Statistics Canada shows the number of Canadians driving home from the U.S. dropped 34% in August compared to the same time last year. Book sales by Canadian authors are up, and U.S. alcohol sales down. Overall, Canadian exports to the U.S. have dropped slightly, about 2% this year. That's a $5 billion loss.
Thanks for this. Ashley Burke tonight in Ottawa. Donald Trump again suggested that it should be illegal for broadcasters to give him too much negative press as the backlash over the suspension of ABC late-night talk show host Jimmy Kimmel grows, including, Paul Hunter explains, from within Trump's own party.
For Jimmy Kimmel, host of his now suspended late-night comedy talk show, support overnight from his fellow late-night comedians.
We have another fun, hilarious, administration-compliant show.
That's Jon Stewart, mocking the Trump administration's apparent targeting of Kimmel. And from Jimmy Fallon, his take on perceived pressure for networks to now not offend Donald Trump.
Here we go. Well, guys, President Trump just wrapped up his 3-day trip to the UK, and he
looked incredibly handsome.
Bring Jimmy back!
This as outrage grows in this country over Kimmel's fate. For a second straight day, demonstrators at the offices of ABC, the network that took Kimmel off the air after these comments on the killing of conservative activist Charlie Kirk.
The MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them, and doing everything they can to score political points from it.
We can do this the easy way or the hard way.
The Trump-appointed chair of U.S. broadcast regulator, the FCC, then seemed to pressure ABC to take action against Kimmel before ABC made its move. But now, as protests cite that as a government attack on free speech, an unlikely ally for demonstrators. On his podcast, powerful Republican Senator Ted Cruz emphasized he's no fan of Kimmel's show, but
I think it is unbelievably dangerous for government to put itself in the position of saying, we're going to decide what speech we like and what we don't, and we're going to threaten to take you off air if we don't like what you're saying. And it might feel good right now to threaten Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah.
But when it is used to silence every conservative in America, we will regret it.
I think Brendan Carr is an incredible American patriot with courage.
From the Oval Office, Trump is not backing down, underlining his support for the chair of the FCC while repeating his view there's too much negative coverage of his administration on network TV.
They'll take a great story and they'll make it bad. See, I think that's really illegal, personally.
Ted Cruz, by the way, Erica, also likening the FCC's approach on this to threats by the mafia. Trump was asked about that and said he disagrees.
And what do we know about Jimmy Kimmel himself at this point, Paul?
Well, there's reporting that he's quite angry about all of it and has met with officials from both ABC and parent company Disney. Kimmel reportedly being asked to publicly apologize for the Kirk comments if he hopes to come back on the air. Kimmel is said to have balked at that. Erica.
Thanks for this, Paul Hunter in Washington. Donald Trump says the U.S. military carried out another fatal strike on what he claims was a drug smuggling vessel heading to the U.S. In a post on Truth Social that included this video, Trump says 3 people were killed in the strike. He did not say where the vessel departed from or where the strike happened specifically, only that it was in the U.S. Southern Command's area of responsibility. This is the U.S. military's 3rd fatal strike on an alleged drug smuggling vessel this month. Estonia says 3 Russian fighter jets violated its airspace in what the EU foreign policy chief and former Estonian prime minister calls a dangerous provocation.
It is clear that Russia is testing how far they can go.
Estonia says Russian jets spent 12 minutes over the country, prompting a request for consultation with NATO allies. Russia denied the accusation, saying the jets were making a planned flight over neutral waters. It comes just over a week after several Russian drones violated Poland's airspace during an attack on Ukraine. Here in Canada, the federal government says it's taking aim at hate, tabling new legislation to combat a rise in reported hate crimes. As Rafi Bouchakanian explains, it includes a ban on displaying certain hate symbols in public.
Bonjour tout le monde. Canada's Justice Minister says it's time to crack down on hate crimes.
This behavior is not just morally culpable. The impact has reverberations through the entirety of a community.
From mosques to synagogues, places of worship have been increasingly targeted. Police reported hate crimes have nearly doubled recently, rising from just above 2,600 in 2020 to nearly 5,000 last year.
If we do not take action, we will be responsible for the hate that will continue to impact communities across this country.
Ottawa's amendments to the criminal code would make hate-motivated crime a specific offence and crack down on people intimidating and obstructing places of worship. They would also forbid certain hate symbols, such as the swastika or logos linked to banned terror groups like Hamas, from being displayed during events such as protests.
There are some positive things in the legislation. So, for example, there's going to be a freestanding provision for hate crimes.
But the National Council of Canadian Muslims is looking for more specificity.
Making sure that people aren't walking around with swastikas or, clans robes is a positive thing. But we just want to make sure that that in this legislation, we're able to make sure that people can make the distinction between what a hate symbol actually is and what it isn't.
While the Center for Israel and Jewish Affairs says it wants the legislation to go further.
We think that a straight ban of those symbols is the way to go. The federal government has taken a different route here.
A debate that will no doubt be picked up once the bill is discussed in Parliament, where no government has had an easy time legislating the limits of freedom of speech before. Rafi Boudjikani on CBC News, Ottawa.
On the same day the federal government announced that legislation, police were called to a home in St. Thomas, Ontario, after complaints about a swastika marked on a front lawn. Neighbors were disturbed but not surprised by the display, describing other threatening and offensive behavior from the homeowner.
My son's even witnessed him doing the Hail Hitler to oncoming traffic.
He'd throw his arm up and yell Hail Hitler.
He didn't answer his door to answer questions about the mode symbol.
Why don't you report on how my lawnmower got stolen? You don't care, do you? You and your fake news.
But he did call down to the CBC News crew from his roof.
You know you're harassing me?
Police say they sympathized with those who found the act offensive and are investigating. Irish hip-hop group Kneecap has been barred from entering Canada ahead of concerts scheduled in Toronto and Vancouver next month.
The group have amplified political violence and publicly displayed support for terrorist organizations such as Hezbollah and Hamas.
A statement from Kneecap denies supporting any militant groups and says it's taking legal action against the Canadian government. One member of the group is facing terrorism charges in the UK after allegedly waving a Hezbollah flag on stage in London last year. A government memo obtained by our colleagues at Radio-Canada says the Alberta government is planning to override sections of the Charter over its laws impacting transgender youth. Julia Wong now with more on the potential move and the strong reaction.
For about a year, Alberta Premier Danielle Smith has argued a suite of laws affecting young transgender people align with the Charter of Rights and Freedoms.
We think what we're putting forward is reasonable.
Now, an Alberta Justice memo obtained by Radio-Canada says her office plans on invoking the notwithstanding clause. It allows governments to override certain charter rights for 5 years. This legislative initiative is highly sensitive and should be approached with the utmost confidentiality, the memo states. The laws require parents be told if their child changes their names or pronouns in school, limit gender-affirming medical care, and prevent transgender girls from participating in female sports. Alberta's potential use of the clause sends a message, according to this expert.
It's effectively saying it doesn't really matter to us that a court may find that there's a rights infringement. We're not willing to compromise. And people will have very different views about whether that's the correct political action.
This 2S LGBTQ+ advocacy group, which is challenging the laws in court, calls the move heavy-handed.
If this can be done targeting our communities that are living on the margins, then I think that it can be done to anybody, really.
But parental advocates in favor of the laws support the move.
This government has heard from parents, has heard our concerns, and is eager to vindicate our authority in education over our own children.
The clause is being invoked more frequently, says this professor.
It was meant to be used rarely, not in this normalized way, not as an everyday tool by governments.
In a social media post, Premier Smith calls the clause a provincial constitutional right. The fall sitting of the Alberta legislature begins next month. Julia Wong, CBC News, Edmonton.
RCMP say they will soon use cadaver dogs to search for 2 missing children in Nova Scotia. Jack and Lily Sullivan haven't been seen since May. But as Angela McIver explains, this doesn't necessarily mean there's been a break in the case.
Daniel Martel has been asking RCMP for months to call in cadaver dogs to search for his 2 missing stepchildren. Now the time has come.
It's going to be really hard work now that there's so much vegetation in the woods, but I'm pretty happy that they're going to be able to do it.
4-year-old Jack Sullivan and his 6-year-old sister Lily were reported missing on May 2nd. They were last seen at their home in Lansdowne Station, Nova Scotia, a rural community deep in the woods. Nearly 5 months later, there's still no trace of them. RCMP say they need to keep their minds open to any possibility.
What's important to remember is that at this time we don't have any definitive information to support that the children are deceased. But we have to keep our minds open and look at all investigative avenues.
RCMP did bring in search dogs to scour the area here in Lansdowne Station when the children first went missing back in May. At the time, dogs were given pieces of Jack and Lily's clothing to track their scent, but nothing was found other than a piece of Lily's blanket, which family members actually located on their own.
Human remains detection dogs are specific to human remain odor, and that's completely different from live searching.
RCMP say 2 dogs will come to Nova Scotia from British Columbia to conduct the specialized search, a bleak mission. But Martel isn't expecting it will bring answers.
So are you thinking that the dogs will go in there and won't find anything?
I know for 100% they won't find anything. I mean, that's probably why they waited this long to do it. It's just to keep the public informed, I guess, that they're hard at work.
RCMP say for officer safety and the integrity of the investigation, they won't disclose when the new search will begin or where exactly the cadaver dogs will be deployed, only that it won't be this weekend. Angela McIver, CBC News, Lansdowne Station, Nova Scotia.
9 people in Portugal were helped to shore after orcas rammed 2 tourist boats, sinking one of them. It's part of a trend with a group of killer whales in the area. Yasmin Ranea explains why the boats are a target.
Too close for comfort. Killer whales ram this boat off the coast of Portugal until it sinks. On the same day nearby, another terrifying encounter. See this orca hitting the vessel from underneath, the steering wheel spinning out of control.
They are the ocean's top predator, and while they don't prey on people, they literally are, the image of death.
Thankfully, none of the 9 people on board the 2 boats were hurt.
But I'm sure they've caused mental stress and trauma that'll stay with these people forever.
Search and rescue helped in their return to shore. These confrontations are part of a growing trend. Since 2020, there have been more than 600 reported interactions between orcas and boats off the coasts of Portugal and Spain. Oh my God. So why is this happening? Scientists say the whales are not attacking humans on purpose, but that a small group of young male orcas are bored and simply roughhousing.
In the same way, I don't know, maybe young boys like to push things and smash things. I think there's something in here too where there's some pleasure in the power they have over another object.
This expert doesn't believe the group will teach whales outside of their pods.
Oh my God.
Canadians have had close encounters with killer whales too, but it's not as common. In 2017, these boaters got caught in the middle of a pod of orcas on the hunt. The best way to avoid these incidents, experts say, is know where the whales are and stay far, far away. Yasmin Ranea, CBC News, Vancouver.
For Blue Jays fans this year, the hype is real.
Base hit into left field.
Watching them play has been really exciting.
Why everyone from super fans to analysts think they have a shot at going all the way. And how a BC city faced down a serious problem.
I was shocked that he was leaving. It just left me reeling because it basically left us no doctors.
The fix that's flipping healthcare on its head. Plus, the P.E.I. village getting a shout out for its picture-perfect views.
We were over the top happy.
We're back in 2.
Canada stole it. Can you believe it? Canada 34, New Zealand 19.
Canada is heading to the Women's Rugby World Cup final, beating 6-time champion New Zealand. The last time they made it this far was in 2014, when they finished second. Canada will face the winner of Saturday's match between England and France in the final, set for September 27th. But things didn't go as planned for the Toronto Blue Jays as they faced the Kansas City Royals.
Jensen at third, pass Quintino, finds a hole, and the Royals have 10.
But Toronto owns the top record in the American League, and as Thomas Dagler reports, that has fans hopeful the team can make it all the way.
Text line is open, 590-590.
At this baseball call-in show, the phone lines are lighting up.
Unbloody believable in the field.
With long-suffering Toronto sports fans daring to dream.
Man, the Jays defense is just unreal.
The Blue Jays are the talk of the town. What a change from this time last year.
I would say sometime in June they stopped asking for the manager, the general manager, and the president to be fired. That's usually a good indication.
The pitch from Kelly. Base hit into left field.
The team leads the American League in hits and batting average, sending the Jays soaring to the top of the standings. Not bad for a core roster that missed the playoffs last year and looks set to win their division this time.
They have really good chemistry and they all just they don't give up.
There's a lot of good energy from the team. Watching them play has been really exciting.
For many fans, this season looks a lot like that one. 2015, the last time the Jays won the AL East, setting the stage for Jose Bautista's October bat flip.
This is feeling really good. I think this team is a team of destiny. From Blatty and his people.
Superfan Aaron Barbarian has collected decades of memorabilia.
Paul Molitor right there, Joe Carter, the great Joe Carter.
Even from the squads that won back-to-back World Series.
Given the way these guys are playing, they could be there. They could be one of those teams.
At the radio station, the talk is turning to October. And what happens then?
I think they have the ability to make it to the World Series, no question.
With the best record in the American League, the Jays have a shot at home field advantage in the postseason, capping off this string of unexpected success. Thomas Dagg, CBC News, Toronto.
Thinking outside the box to attract family doctors.
I actually made it a platform issue. I says, I am going to get family doctors.
Faced with a growing population, how the pitch from one mayor is changing the game. Plus, after the killing of Charlie Kirk, Trump goes after Antifa.
They show up in the helmets and the black masks, and they've got clubs and they've got everything. Antifa!
Why some worry the president could use a terror designation to target critics. The National takes you deeper into the stories shaping our world. Next. Fountains of lava from Hawaii's Kilauea volcano spewing hundreds of meters into the sky. The U.S. Geological Survey says this is the 33rd episode of its ongoing eruption, happening periodically since December. Quebec manufacturing giant Bombardier is making a play for the military market, hoping to capitalize on bigger defense budgets. But as Philippe de Montigny reports, pivoting is one thing, delivering quite another.
Bombardier got out of trains and commercial planes 5 years ago to focus on private jets. But now it sees potential in defense.
Especially right now, the momentum is very high. You know, every country is increasing its spending, and we're going to be capitalizing on this over the next few years.
The Quebec company is already retooling some of its business planes for surveillance and other military uses and selling them to other countries.
So the Pentagon's a customer. You know, we have the Swedish our customer. The French will now be a customer. So we have a lot of success internationally.
Will Canada be a customer?
I'm sure it's coming.
Bombardier is currently working with an Italian firm to develop maritime patrol aircrafts. It hopes these planes can replace the ones Ottawa recently purchased from Boeing, an American manufacturer.
The plane exists, okay?
But experts warn the company may lack the expertise and production capacity, including this former aerospace engineering officer with the Canadian Armed Forces.
We remember the C series of Bombardier. This was very expensive. There were delays and so on. It's the same thing with Boeing and Airbus. Every time they develop a new plane, it's risky.
Not only that, the market for military planes is also relatively limited, and Bombardier is facing steep competition from well-established players.
They may have the technical expertise, but until you start selling and you have a critical mass of airplanes that you're producing annually to maintain and enhance that experience, it's going to be a rough ride. And then we got drones. That could be, and probably already are, a formidable competitor.
And we as a country, we can work together.
Bombardier's CEO, who helped rebuild the company and reduce its crippling debt, isn't afraid of the challenge.
We would be very proud of helping secure our country, but at the same time, it gives the opportunity to create jobs in the country and export these solutions.
Philippe de Montigny, CBC News, Toronto.
Now it's time to dig deeper into the stories shaping our world. Donald Trump threatens to designate Antifa a terrorist organization.
It's no coincidence this is happening after the shooting of Charlie Kirk.
Is the threat lawful? And who exactly might he be targeting? But first, a radical move to address a shortage of family doctors.
It was a very emotional experience for me to finally get the relief of having that physician to look after us.
A British Columbia city's unique pitch to attract GPs. Christine Birack looks at a pretty simple idea. The doctors work for the city. The city takes care of the paperwork, and residents get the care they've been missing.
In a picture-perfect city on Vancouver Island, desperation is rewriting the playbook on finding people family doctors.
I was shocked that he was leaving. It just left me reeling because it basically left us no doctors.
When the last family doctor left Colwood, BC, the mayor didn't wait for the province to step up. He stepped in with a big idea. What if family doctors didn't just work in the city, but for the city, by offering them a salary, a pension, and other benefits? His plan is now turning heads across the country, and it could reshape how other cities not just attract family doctors for their residents, but keep them.
There was quite a bit of pushback, to tell you the truth, because everyone said, hey, that's not our responsibility.
Healthcare is a provincial responsibility, but it's cities that bleed when the system breaks. Colwood Mayor Doug Kobayashi isn't your typical politician. He's an aeronautical engineer, used to taking apart complex problems and trying to solve them in creative ways.
I actually took it on. I actually made it a platform issue. I says, I am going to get family doctors.
Colwood is home to about 25,000 people, growing fast and aging fast too. Here, like many cities, the family doctor shortage isn't some distant policy debate. It's visible in packed ERs, closed clinics, and families left scrambling. While other cities focus on recruitment, Colwood's mayor is offering something different.
So, if I have this correct, what you're offering is, here in Colwood, lifestyle.
Yes.
Defined pension.
Yes.
Medical insurance.
Yes.
Pat leave for 1 year.
That's correct.
Vacation covered.
Correct.
Sick days.
Yes.
And admin staff.
Absolutely.
And that's all under the city.
Absolutely.
He's turning family doctors into city employees. That means when a doctor sees a patient, the city bills the province and collects payment. The city covers clinic costs, rent, overhead, and staffing. Doctors earn a salary of about $280,000 a year, plus full employee benefits, including a pension worth over $2.5 million over 30 years.
This is the result. The Colwood Clinic opened in February with the goal of housing 8 family doctors. 3 have signed contracts so far from the US, Europe, and 1 from Ontario, whom we're about to meet.
She read about Colwood's plan and moved.
Dr. Stiller? Hi. Christine, you're at CBC.
Nice to meet you, Christine.
Welcome
Thanks
to
for
the
having
clinic.
us.
Yeah.
Dr. Cassandra Stiller trained as a family doctor, but didn't have a family practice in Ontario. She worked at a walk-in style clinic, took on sports medicine patients while tracking and paying related expenses.
With this model, it's all taken care of. Basically show up to work, your patients are ready to see you.
With a young family, she won't miss working evenings and weekends, but she's also no longer her own boss.
So that is definitely something I've given up. But in exchange, I get my taxes deducted from my paycheck. I get a paycheck every 2 weeks, and there you go, which is nice because then you can kind of have a bit of financial planning and stability in your life.
And she's feeling a renewed sense of urgency and purpose in practicing family medicine.
So I'm seeing people who haven't seen a doctor in 10, 15 years, and they're presenting to me kind of for their first appointment, and we're either diagnosing potentially a new diagnosis of high blood pressure, hypertension, discovering a new breast cancer. So it's been a bit of an emotional roller coaster as you feel for these people.
I've been doing so much better the last couple weeks.
Patients like Sheila Eldridge couldn't be more grateful for her care.
I started to cry. I felt so bad about it, but I started to cry. It was a very emotional experience for me to finally get the relief of having that physician to look after us.
The clinic is expecting 2 more doctors in the coming months, each caring for about 1,250 patients. The city leases the space from the pharmacy next door, keeping costs low. And Colwood's plan has been making headlines as doctors move here and others are considering similar clinics. After initial skepticism and problems with payment systems, BC's Ministry of Health says it's encouraged to see people and communities stepping up with ideas and solutions to help. And Mayor Kobayashi is getting calls from across British Columbia, along with communities in Alberta and Ontario.
Other cities are now turning to Colwood for inspiration on how to attract family doctors. Now we're in Orillia, Ontario, where the mayor is aiming to connect 12,000 residents with a family doctor by the end of this year, and he's making progress. So let's go find out how he's doing it and how it's going so far.
We're meeting Orillia's mayor, Don McIsaac.
Mayor McIsaac?
Hey, good morning, Christine. Welcome to Sunshine City.
He wants to recruit 8 family doctors for his city.
I think Colwood nailed it. We embraced them. We thought, hey, this is great. Why not here? Why not?
Orillia is a city of 34,000 residents. About 1 in 3 don't have a doctor. The city has the space to open its own clinic, but unlike Colwood, it doesn't have a partner to help pay upfront costs.
One reason why not is it cost $1.5 million to put the clinic on the 2nd floor of the city building. We haven't given up on that idea, and we're still looking for alternatives in terms of how to get there.
Meantime, their efforts are concentrating on doctor recruitment, which has brought them 1 family doctor so far. But the question is, should cities be doing all of this? Stephen Lewis teaches health policy at Simon Fraser University.
They're saying, well, we're not waiting for the problem to be solved universally. We will solve it locally.
Lewis says while Colwood can afford a clinic, other cities can't.
I would be going back to the province and saying, wait a minute, who's responsible for this anyway? And we are only doing this because you didn't do your job.
Do you have a family doctor, or how long have you been waiting?
No, I don't have any family doctor. I have been on waiting list for more than 5 years.
At this busy bakery in Colwood, many say the city's new clinic is a step in the right direction, especially for those like Tita Suarez.
Every time I need to book an appointment, I need to either phone the walk-in clinic, or if that's urgent, I need to go to the emergency room.
I think it's an awesome idea.
I think it's a great idea. I think it's great. Everybody would love to have a doctor nearby.
That's about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Colwood's goal is to connect 10,000 residents with family doctors within 5 years.
And what would you say has been the biggest hurdle so far?
You know, it's a change in philosophy because this is something that a city, a municipality would not normally do.
Sometimes the hardest part isn't policy, it's mindset. And when health depends on consistent, accessible, ongoing care, the old playbook isn't enough because people's lives depend on it.
An estimated 6 million Canadians are waiting to be connected with a family doctor and really entrusting someone with their care.
And Christine, the federal government is giving the provinces targeted funding for primary care. So is that helping?
Well, the provinces will argue it's not enough, and some of them have been slow to act. But there are some problems money can't easily fix here. We have an aging population, and while it would be great to have more family doctors, there aren't enough of them to go around.
So how long will people be waiting to get a family doctor?
So it took decades to arrive in this place, and it's going to take time to get primary care back to where it needs to be. At this point, most provinces have similar goals: hire more family doctors, reduce paperwork, offer better payment models, and build team-based care. There isn't a lot of national data tracking how it's going, but Ontario is working on team-based care, promising to connect everyone with a family doctor or nurse practitioner by 2029. And the transfer money has helped BC create a new payment model. It's now being used in Colwood, paying family doctors to do the job full-time and care for people long-term, which is what many patients want and need.
Okay, thanks, Christine. Christine Birak in Toronto tonight. Next, Trump wants to designate Antifa a terrorist organization. But who is he targeting?
If there isn't a formal Antifa organization, then it's a vague label that can be applied to anyone who is a political opponent of Donald Trump.
We break down the president's promise next. As a reaction to the killing of Charlie Kirk rolls across the U.S., Donald Trump takes aim at the movement known as Antifa.
He uses Antifa to describe anyone who might be opposed to him specifically, but the politics of the right in general.
The U.S. president's threat raises questions about the limits of his authority and about who he might be going after. Ashley Fraser digs into Antifa's origins and actions and why its lack of structure makes it hard to see who might get swept up.
On Wednesday night, US President Donald Trump said he would designate Antifa as a major terrorist organization. So what is Antifa? The word is short for anti-fascist in a number of languages. Now, Antifa is sometimes referred to as a group, but experts say it's more of a movement or orientation.
It's a specific international anti-fascist politics of pan-radical left, bringing in different kinds of socialists and anarchists and other leftists in coalition to fight back against fascism in the far right from the bottom up.
And this movement isn't new.
Anti-fascism as a movement, it goes back, of course, to the formation of fascism in Italy, Benito Mussolini in 1919, and the opposition to his party. And then, of course, from there, opposition to fascism in Italy, Nazi Germany, in Spain during the Spanish Civil War, World War II.
The North American version of the Antifa movement formed in the 1980s.
That kind of militant anti-fascist politics really made its appearance in the US with the creation of the Anti-Racist Action Network in the US, Canada, and to a small extent in Latin America.
But by the early 2000s, the Antifa movement was mostly dormant.
It really flourished with Trump's first presidential campaign and the Charlottesville Unite the Right rally of 2017.
That far-right rally, organized by white nationalists over plans to remove a Confederate statue, was met with many counter-protesters, including various anti-fascist groups. The professor I spoke to said President Trump has used the word Antifa frequently as a blanket term to describe left-wing
Up
groups.
in the helmets and the black masks, and they've got clubs and they've got everything. Antifa!
He uses Antifa to describe anyone who might be opposed to him specifically, but the politics of the right in general, particularly labeling the movement for Black Lives and the racial justice protests that occurred in the summer of 2020 as Antifa protests, even though they weren't Antifa protests. They were a separate movement that has existed for decades in the United States.
And that's when the president first tried to label Antifa as a terrorist group. That failed in part because Antifa is not a centralized organization. It doesn't have a website or a list of members or a designated leader. It also didn't work because there's no legal framework to do this.
We don't have a list of domestic terrorist organizations under law in the United States. We have a foreign terrorist organization list, Al-Qaeda, Hamas, for example, but you have to be foreign to be on that list.
And there's no domestic designation because that could infringe on First Amendment rights.
We have a freedom of association under the First Amendment, which means that everybody has a right to create whatever organizations it wants. And you also have the right to believe any ideas that you want under the First Amendment. And you have a right to give money or raise money to organizations that you believe in or support their ideology.
So why has Trump called for this terrorist designation again?
You have not seen Antifa groups in the street confronting the far right for years, and Republicans hadn't been talking about them for years. All of a sudden, it's no coincidence this is happening after the shooting of Charlie Kirk. There's this interest among right-wing circles to try and lash out against them, a nebulous formulation for the left, for those they disagree with, and suddenly it's come up again.
Now, to be clear, there's been no evidence to suggest that the suspect charged with Charlie Kirk's murder had any affiliation to Antifa. But legal experts say Trump's announcement on the backdrop of Kirk's murder, where VP J.D. Vance has said a movement of left-wing extremism had helped lead to Kirk's assassination, could all be an effort to squash any political opposition.
If there isn't a formal Antifa organization, then it's a vague label that can be applied to anyone who is a political opponent of Donald Trump or of the right more generally.
And as things are moving in more and more of an authoritarian direction, I think it's worthy of caution to think how that might be used that way, even if he hasn't done it in the past.
Now, a look at another story we've got in the works. The Canadian government's promise to hike military spending to 2% of GDP means lots of potential contracts worth billions soon. Adrienne goes inside some of the companies trying to score them.
Government must start fulfilling its most fundamental role.
Canada's Prime Minister made a promise.
Defend Canadians.
This country will spend an extra $8.7 billion on defense by March.
We believe that the CAF has the latest in technology.
No wonder defense contractors here are eager to show off what's for sale.
What you see there is the body of the satellite.
It enables you to do a mission rehearsal without having to fly.
It's a lot of money to spend quickly and wisely, and for this industry, hoping to cash in on some of it, it's a very big deal.
I was at work and it was like, wow. After 30 years of trying to struggle to get people to pay attention to the Canadian Defence Industrial Base, I didn't really expect it.
To me, that's been the most notable thing of Mr. Carney's time in office.
Effectively, Canada is now in an arms race, kicked off with a June 9th announcement.
I'm announcing today that Canada will achieve NATO's 2% of GDP target this year, half a decade ahead of schedule.
That is a promise, quite possibly easier said than done.
And you can see Adrienne's full story next week right here on The National. Next, the tiny P.E.I. village getting international attention after being named one of the most beautiful places in the world. You're looking at an historic coastal village on Prince Edward Island, now in the global spotlight for its natural beauty and charm. Named by Forbes magazine as one of the world's most beautiful villages, that reaction is our moment.
It was a very exciting moment when residents of Victoria by the Sea all found out that we were named one of the most beautiful villages in the world by Forbes magazine. I thought, wow, that couldn't possibly be. When I finally read it, I thought, wow, I got to tell other people. So I shared it amongst some of the residents here, and we were over the top happy. We're very, very small. We only have less than 200 residents here. Our location, we're right on the sea. The pastel colors of the homes in our village make a beautiful picture for visitors to see. And when you go down to the wharf, you'll get to meet the fishermen as they come in from their lobster fishing, and there's nothing like having the smell of lobster come up on the wharf to add to the experience of visiting our village. It's quite amazing that our village has been included with so many other places in the world. I invite people from across Canada to come see what we have here and why we were named one of the top 50 most beautiful villages in the world.
And if you're wondering, Victoria by the Sea ranked 23rd on the Forbes list of the world's 50 most beautiful villages. And the mayor you just saw there said he's excited, but he doesn't know how they're going to handle the crowds. Good luck with that. Thank you for being with us. You can watch anytime on the CBC News app and subscribe to the National's YouTube channel. I'm Erica Johnson in Vancouver. Take care.